Gen V ruined The Boys. Here's how. There's an unwritten general rule that any cinematic universe, that is to say any shared fictional world where multiple film and television franchises exist within the same continuity, should follow. That is that spin-off storylines should be drastically affected by, but should not drastically affect the main storyline. Doing things any differently risks making the cinematic universe feel like homework, where readers or viewers who are invested primarily or singularly in the main storyline must also follow the tangential storylines that may be of lesser interest in order to understand ongoing events in the main storyline. And when that happens, the cinematic universe risks irritating followers who may ultimately lose interest due to the frustrating confusion of convoluted mythology, as well as compromising the quality of both the main storyline and its tangential storylines themselves. Compromising the quality of the main storyline by tossing in unearned major events or characters with insufficient build-up or justification. Compromising the quality of the tangential storylines by resolving or advancing or ruining their plots outside of their own separate spaces. The Boys cinematic universe broke that rule when Season 1 of Gen V, a spin-off series from The Boys main series, introduced the soup-killing virus plotline that became a predominant part of the narrative of The Boys Season 4 and introduced characters, specifically Sam and Kate and Tek Knight, who became major players in some episodes of The Boys Season 4. Now, The Boys Season 4 would have already been the weakest in the show's history because of its many other problems, but the Gen V crossover made the season so much worse because it indeed turned The Boys universe into homework. Viewers, and there were many, who enjoyed The Boys but not Gen V were forced to watch Gen V or be left scratching their heads during The Boys Season 4 when entire episodes suddenly focus on a virus that could kill every soup on Earth, or how Tek Knight is helping build prison camps, or how Sam and Kate are the guardians of Godolkin and part of Homelander's inner circle. The problem was made even worse by the fact that The Boys Season 4 was the penultimate season and was the wind-up to the endgame, which effectively meant that viewers who did not watch or care about Gen V would be completely lost as The Boys entered its last and most important stretch of episodes. Yeah, story-wise, the show just never recovered from that setback. More recently, Gen V Season 2 has worsened the problem again by introducing the silly Project Odessa retcon and floating Marie Moreau as an ultimate soup who's capable of controlling or killing Homelander. Gen V Season 2 has placed The Boys between a rock and a hard place and has all but ensured that it's going to be impossible for the writers to land the plane satisfactorily by giving The Boys a worthy ending. Because now The Boys Season 5 is going to inherently feel incomplete from a logical standpoint if Marie, who's confirmed to join Starlight's resistance at the end of Gen V Season 2, does not fight and kill Homelander. And Gen V will feel incomplete itself from a logical standpoint if Marie does not fight and kill Homelander at some point. But on the other hand, The Boys Season 5 will also feel unsatisfying from a narrative standpoint if Marie does fight and kill Homelander, because The Boys at its heart has always been about the war between Billy Butcher and Homelander. Marie has not even appeared in The Boys yet. Fans of exclusively The Boys and not Gen V will hardly even be aware of her identity, besides that A-Train mention in episode 1 of season 5, and they won't really care about her story either. So it's going to feel like a cheap cheat to those viewers if she's suddenly the magic bullet that's capable of doing what The Boys has been following Butcher as he tries and fails to do for 5 whole seasons now. Now, yeah, no matter how The Boys ends, it's already outdone the source material by leaps and bounds. It'll probably go down in history as one of the few examples of an adaptation that was actually better than the comic book series that inspired it. And I do think there's a way, though it'll be hard, to do justice to Marie's story while also not letting it overshadow The Boys Season 5's overall final narrative. But still, just think about how much better The Boys could have and would have been had its cinematic universe just followed this simple unwritten rule.